Welcome back to the channel. Remember to like these videos and subscribe. In this upcoming video, Shell Green, she's, I'd say, somewhat famous. A lot of people know her from Facebook and know her through her singing because she's a gospel singer. She's sharing her story. She was undocumented for 30 years and she was also facing deportation. Trust me when I tell you, this story is one to listen. This is what you call a testimony.
Hello everyone, it's me Shira Rose Green and I'm here to share my story. I know a lot of y'all heard this story over and over again, but I promise the Lord that if He come through for me, I'm going to tell my story every chance I get. Guys, a few years ago, my mother passed away. Guys, I never have papers. I was in the country for 30 years undocumented. All right? So when my mother passed away, I was so devastated, very sad. And I was like, I want to see my mom. Any means necessary, I'm going to see my mom. So someone gave me papers. So I went and I saw my mother for the last time. And I came back. When I came back to the United States, my father said to me, he knows of someone that use the same papers and get a United States passport. So I wasn't even thinking. I came in the country at a very young age. So I wanted so bad to be legal in the country. So I went, and right after, about 2 weeks later, I heard my phone tapped. And I'm like, something ain't right. My phone is open. Somebody's listening to my conversation. That was the feds. They were listening to my conversation. All right. So anyway, I just felt like I was closed in. That was something was going to happen to me. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my fingers on it, but I knew that I felt every time I walk on the street, I'm looking behind me like I was locked up somewhere. But I just couldn't put my fingers on it. So one day a family member called me and said, Cheryl, feds is looking for you. I said, what? Feds? When you hear the word feds, people, I was so frightened. So anyway, I left my apartment because I said to myself, they ain't going to catch me. So I am going to be a fugitive because you ain't going to catch me. Anyway, I went and I go stay with somebody. And I remember one night I got the vision that says, investigation looking for me. So I left that where I was staying, and right after I left, there go the feds going to that particular place where I was looking for me. So I was hiding. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was hiding for a while because I was like, oh my God, feds? I've never been locked up before. And I left my apartment. And one day, people, I got a vision that says, I heard a voice says to me, go back to your apartment and clean up your house. And I did what the voice told me to do. And when I go back, people, and I clean up my house and I clean from the crevice to the corner. When I came back, was talking to this guy at the time. I was sitting down watching TV. I heard a loud knock on my door. When I looked through the peephole, I know it was them. I started to cry right away. And when I looked through the peephole, it was 10 U.S. Marshal, federal agents. And I opened the door, and they handcuffed me and showed me my picture. I said, yeah, that's me. They took me down they put me in an unmarked car, took me down to Broward Boulevard at this federal jail. They fingerprint me and took me upstairs. I cried so hard. I just lost my son from domestic violence when I was 9 months pregnant. I was beaten, you know what I'm saying? And my placenta was ripped, you know what I'm saying? And I went through a devastated time in my life. And my mother passed away. So everything was going through my mind. And I'm like, I know I'm incarcerated. People, I'm telling you, I almost lost my mind. I was on the top bunk and I was laying on my back. And I'm telling you, my pillow was soaked with tears. And I was sitting there and I heard this loud voice shook me and said, everything was going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. And I'm like, I look around, I see nobody. And I'm like, I said to my inmate, I said, come here. She was over the other side. And I said, come here. And I said, did you say something to me? And she said, no. And I realized it was the voice of Jesus saying to me not to worry. But of course, my faith had gotten weak. I was there and there was a feds that kind of knew me. And he said, I'm going to give you a referral to, I'm going to let you go to Miami holding cell where people was holding to go to prison, but I wasn't going to prison. And I went there, it was clean, they give you good food, you know, and I went there. And as soon as I walked in, I saw this guitar and I started to sing. I picked up the guitar and I started to play the guitar, and I was like, I am praying, blessed Savior, to be more and more like thee. I am praying that thy spirit like a dove may rest on me. Thou knowest all my weakness. My name is Shira Rose Green from the beautiful parish of St. Catherine, Jamaica. I know a lot of y'all heard that testimony and don't know the face behind that voice is me. All right, guys? But guys, I'm telling you, when I sang that song, I mean, the inmates, the police officers started to cry. I mean, soul got saved into that jailhouse. So sometimes God put us in a position to recognize him. I never prayed so much. God set me up. And you guys might wonder, oh, God set her up. He set me up for greatness. Because God allowed me to get caught. Because he knew that he was going to bring me out. He knew that if I was hiding, I would not be legal today in the country. I was fighting deportation for a very long time. For 15 years, undocumented for 30 years. All right, guys. When I did my time in federal jail, guys, 6 weeks, immigration came and got me. I went to immigration jail. A lot of persons were in there. Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bahamian was waiting to get deported. They go in front of the judge. The judge denied their bond. And they're saying to me, oh, you expect to get bond when we have papers and we get denied. I said, but God told me he was going to get me out of here. People, I got a bond. I went in front of the judge and right away I got a bond and I came out. 2 years later, I got pregnant with my son, the one I have now. And somebody called me and said, Cheryl, police looking for you. I said, for what? I just went to jail 2 years ago. They told me that the feds charged me for the passport. And then the state charged me for the driver's license. So they came and they got me. I have the big bill in front of me. And I was crying so hard. I said, not again. So they took me to Borough General to get a clearance. And they took me to Pampona jail in the pregnancy ward. I didn't eat for weeks. All I ate was orange. And I did my time there again in 3 weeks. And immigration came and got me again for the second time. When I went to immigration for the second time again, I see some numbers on the wall. I'm going to call them and I say, listen, I'm going to lose my baby. I'm not feeling good. And by the time I pick up the phone to call that next number, I felt a gush of blood run down my inner thigh. I was started to bleed and bleed and bleed, and they rushed me to the hospital next door to the immigration jail. My son was moving, so they sent me home on the recognizance, where I have to check in with immigration every 3 months, and I did that for 5 long years. So guys, when you see me, glory man, leave me alone. You don't love to hear people's story. Y'all love to hear people's sad story, but you don't love to see their glory. You understand what I'm saying? And after all this, guys, they denied me. They deny and deny, and I fight and I fight and I win, because the Lord told me that he was going to come through. And I remember one day I called the phone and it says, you are denied and you have 30 days to leave the country. And I started to cry. I said, nah, give up. I'm a fight again. And I fight. And I remember I came back to Florida. I was in Jersey at the time at a concert when I heard the news. And I came back to Florida and I packed up my stuff. And while I was packing my stuff, I started to cry and I said, Lord, are you there? I need a word. I need a word. And I heard the voice says, you are approved. But my faith was not that strong. I packed my stuff and I moved away to Pennsylvania to stay with a friend of mine. And I was there and I was like counting down the days, because they give me 30 days. And then treat me bad, people. They treat, because they know my situation. I was walking on eggshells. And 30 days, 29. And when it comes to the 29th day, my lawyer called and said, you are approved. So let me tell you something. God set me up for a greater comeback. My setback was for a greater comeback. But I'm here to tell you, if you're fighting any kind of deportation or whatever you're fighting, domestic violence, God is on the job. It might seem far-fetched, but it's not true with you yet. Guys, I've been through a lot. I've been through hard times. I've been through ridicules. I've been through backlash. I've been through so much, and God take me out of it. A lot of y'all don't like to see people glory, but y'all like to hear their story. God is amazing. God is amazing, guys. Stay strong and just be still and know that he is God. I've been through deportation, living in an abandoned building with rats and moles and roaches, walking the street of Sunrise because people kicked me out of them house. I didn't have no place to go, but God sustained me. God kept me, and I'm so glad. And now I am a United States citizen. I can fly. I can go anywhere I want to go without looking behind me. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God I'm free at last. No more tears. No more cries. No more pain. No more living in an abandoned building with rats and moles. I live in a beautiful home. God came through for me, and he will come through for you too. Fight. Don't give up the battles. Fight. God bless you.